Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can survive! It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
And also joining us is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How you doing?
I am also doing good.
I love it. Both you guys out of the gate kind of have the same energy level. We need that charging battery that we've been seeing on NXT.
Not all of us can afford cocaine, Danny.
I'm sorry about that.
Cocaine is expensive.
It is very
Danny.
much expensive.
Not all of us can work in radio.
I know. I got to be on it, man. When the microphone's on, I got to just turn it on. It's like my brain is just trained now. Like if I see a red light or a microphone with levels, it's just like that now, naturally.
You look for the red light to get your stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where the stuff comes from.
A variety of different stuff in the red light. The whole district.
Yeah.
Like what is it? The police song, right, Tommy?
Roxanne. Yeah, the red light district in Amsterdam.
Oh, boy.
So, but here we are back at it for another episode of In The Kliq. So much to talk about this week in WWE television. We're going to touch on just something I noticed from Raw this week. I know we haven't talked too much Raw lately. Just listen, real talk. I think
it's a perfect show. What's to talk about? So,
man, we'll just drop it right there.
yeah,
But,
we like to nitpick about the things we don't like, so we watch the other shows.
Exactly. So
It's like Saturday Night Live. You know, there's tons of bad bits, but you find that one gem of a comedy bit on there.
yeah, Monday Night Raw has been hit or miss a lot lately, and like I said, that's why we haven't talked too much about it lately. It seems like the general consensus of just the wrestling community online, everyone is very frustrated with Raw. So I was like, I just feel like there's not been much of a point to focus on it too much. Hopefully things will get better once the fans are back in attendance and WWE goes back on the road in a few weeks. So maybe see how the live shows start doing with the fans in the arena. Maybe things will pick up, and then maybe we kind of be worth talking more about again. So, but something I've been on Raw I want to ask you guys about, and it's some more bigger questions we'll get into in a second. Of course, NXT and SmackDown as well. But before we jump into that, some exciting stuff, I guess from a historical perspective, I saw was making the rounds this morning on social media, which was kind of a shocker to me, and like, wow, it's been that long already. But today is the 10th anniversary of CM Punk's famous pipe bomb that he did on Monday Night Raw on Monday, June 27th, 2011. And, Tommy and I, we watched it earlier just to remind ourselves what he exactly said, what happened. But Richard, we'll start with you, man. Just, someone who watched it and saw it happen back in the day. Just your overall thoughts on that promo and just kind of maybe what you felt about it, some of your takeaways from it.
This is going to be interesting for you.
Okay.
So, I've told you that there was a period of time where I was not watching WWE.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching TNA. Because TNA had all the people I grew up with, like Kevin Nash and Sting and Kurt Angle. And so CM Punk I saw in TNA in 2002, 2003.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've kind of followed him a little bit here and there and always thought, like that guy's going to be something hopefully someday. Mm-hmm. And kind of tuned back in when he came to WWE just kind of to see him Didn't really get into it. Stopped watching. Kind of missed the whole
Summer of Punk.
No, not that. Straight Edge Society stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't know anything about any of that.
Gotcha.
And then I remember being online and everyone talking about CM Punk. And unfortunately, at the time, my reaction to stuff like that was, did he die? You know, like, so. So then I see that, like, he's breaking down the fourth wall, and that's the promo that got me to watch WWE again.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So, not the wrestling, a promo.
Yeah. I'm with you. I could totally see that. And I think that was the point. It generates so much buzz and just got people talking, water cooler talk, that it got people excited for pro wrestling again, who maybe dipped out for X amount of time, like yourself. And, got people, again, the buzz, and I think it got people going, and the whole led to Summer of Punk and him eventually becoming WWE champion and all that stuff.
And keyword pro wrestling, because during that promo, he said, "I'm the best wrestler, not superstar."
Yeah. No, definitely. As you say, broke the fourth wall. I mean, and listen, it's on YouTube if you want to watch the whole thing. But just to touch on some of the major points was CM Punk. He interfered in John Cena, R-Truth's match. It was like a tables match. He got involved. Cena lost, and then he took the mic, went back up the ramp, sat down cross-legged. So very much the symbolism of that, of him like sitting down, and it was like he's going to tell a story. Like, that's how I kind of viewed it, as the way his body language was. And he just starts airing all of his grievances about his place within the company at the time. And it was, announced that his contract was going to be expiring in a few weeks, or was going to expire at that Money in the Bank. And this was all part of the build for that match with John Cena. And he kept threatening if he was going to win the title, he was going to leave, not sign, and go defend in other places around the world. He name dropped New Japan, Ring of Honor. And so for us, for so many years, WWE didn't like to talk about other promotions. So the fact he just name dropped these other companies, it was like, whoa, that was shocker. And then, he called John Cena a big ass kisser, said he's up there with Hulk Hogan and The Rock. And yeah, he is the best wrestler. He's a Paul Heyman guy. And just like Brock Lesnar, who's also a Paul Heyman guy, who's going to leave and take the title with him. And then eventually led to like him talking about, thinks the company would be better maybe if Vince was dead. But then he's like not sure, because he knows Vince McMahon's surrounded by yes men like John Laurinaitis, and that he's worried that his daughter and Triple H, his son-in-law, probably would not handle the company any better. So he was really just saying a lot of things that people were like, oh my God, what's going on? And, he name dropped, said hi to Colt Cabana, broke the fourth wall, waved to him. So, at the time, it was really amazing.
Did you just recite the whole thing?
No, I typed notes. It was just like, I wanted, because I haven't seen it in years. So I was like watching this. I was like, typing some of this stuff down, but it was just so cool to hear that. And then the mic eventually cut off once he got to like the McMahon family part. And then you stood up and was like pointing at the crowd, like, like, look at this, look, they won't let me talk. Eventually, 3 weeks later, they had the match at Money in the Bank, which I think was one of the greatest matches in WWE history, him and John Cena at the 2011 Money in the Bank. I remember watching that live, and I loved that match. I mean, Richard, I know some people like to criticize John Cena, maybe not the best wrestler in the ring, but I think that was one of his best matches ever. I mean, granted, maybe CM Punk helped him out, but the back and forth, that hot crowd in Chicago, CM Punk's hometown, I love that time period. And then he eventually did win, ran out, blew a kiss to Vince McMahon, jumped in the crowd, and we all know the rest. Looking back on it now, how much do you think that promo affected the business, maybe with WWE, maybe the rest of the world at the time, but like, how much do you think that pipe bomb really meant to the pro wrestling industry?
I think it was important because it brought eyes back on to take it more seriously. I mean, clearly he's come out and said that it was completely scripted. So it's not
the
like,
writer said, go air your grievances.
Yeah. But I remember the narrative amongst wrestling fans for a while was that like, no way. Like, he did that on his own, and he actually laughed, and he actually did this and that. It's like, to the lengths that Vince went for Brett, you think that he's just going to let CM Punk, a lesser name, run away like that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, like at the time, because he came back after Money in the Bank, he came back like 2 weeks later. Remember, he had the new intro, and he started using In Living Color's Cult of Personality theme song. And I kind of wish he was gone a little bit longer. And, this is fantasy talk. I wish he would have gone to like maybe a small independent promotion, defended the title there, or gone some other places and brought the title just to get the more buzz. Like, oh my God, he called his shot. He really left WWE and he's going these other places with the title. But listen, I know Vince, protective of his property and probably doesn't want to be seen in other promotions like that. So that's why it never happened. But always that what if, like they really could have dragged it out. Like, he's holding the belt hostage and he's going other places. Like, that's what I was kind of, hoping for. He was going to travel around, and WWE itself didn't have a champion or a title.
At the same time, wrestling then, remember, is not what it is now. So.
Yeah. So, and for me also, like, I really enjoyed what that promo, I mean, obviously it elevated Punk into the main event scene. He got the fan base for the next 3 years before he left in 2014. But I think it really helped other guys like Daniel Bryan and helped bring like other, quote, smaller guys that were not maybe we've seen in WWE a lot actually, start to get a push themselves or brought into the company. Other guys who were doing big things in Ring of Honor and whatnot. So I think in that sense, that was really good. Like it helped bring up other wrestlers like a CM Punk style. But now, one last thing I just want to touch on is like, where do you think it ranks amongst the other all-time great promos? I mean, like Austin 316, King of the Ring, Dusty Rhodes, Hard Times, Eddie Guerrero about being addicted to Brock Lesnar. So I don't know. Do you, if you had the power rank, like where is it rank amongst your all-time promos out there?
Probably top 10.
Top 10?
Not top 5.
Really? Not top 5?
No, hell no.
It's
not that good. It's good. It's not that good.
I will say this. I would not make it number 1 just because I felt he didn't end on that zinger because his microphone was cut off. So he didn't get to end his like final thought like other promos did that. So that's why I would not maybe make it number 1. But
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say because of that. I think it's a good promo because it sounds honest and it got people to believe in it. But it's not in a top 3 or top 5 for me.
Really? Do you have a number 1 promo that means a lot to you or always stuck out to you?
I don't think anything really means a lot to me. I would say that some of them, I've taken higher regard. I mean, it's kind of hard because it's like with Hogan, there's not one thing, but there's many really good promos. And like honestly, with Punk, it's like and I like Punk, but like he comes across as a snide dick, and like he's right about the things he's saying, but he's also kind of a dick for saying them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't dislike it. It's just for me, it's not like it's something that he's going to be remembered for more than anything else he's done, I think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like Austin 316 is probably my number 1 promo.
That's probably number 1.
Yeah,
probably universally because, like, with Hard Times, how many people actually saw Hard Times when it happened? Like, that wasn't making the entire country or world, but with Austin, that was on pay-per-view, and that like you can see where that took him.
Yeah, so, that really elevated him to stardom from that point on. That wasn't like a mid-career
promo for Austin. Like that's the start of Stone Cold, right there.
Yeah. And it's funny because he tweeted this morning. He's like, "Thank you everyone for the messages, checking in on him." He was like, "I guess a lot of people were." Quoting him or contacting him on Twitter and stuff. I guess CM Punk retweeted his tweet from 10 years ago complimenting that promo. So Austin was trending this morning because CM Punk retweeted a 10-year-old tweet from him. So it was just funny.
Didn't Austin just have his anniversary for that promo?
The 25-year anniversary of the Austin 316 promo was a couple days ago. So, I mean, we talked a lot about that in the past, but no, that was also a great moment. It just, he kind of broke the wall down a little bit as well, as far the fourth wall, talking about Jake the Snake's, issues at the time. And, God, that was also amazing as well. I mean, there's goosebumps when I watched that still. So, but yeah, like I said, I just wanted to touch on it because it's 10-year anniversary. It's a nice round number, and I saw a lot of people addressing it on social media. And who knows what CM Punk's future is if he ever comes back to WWE? That's like every year people ask that one question. So I don't know. We shall wait and see if it ever happens. I'm at this point, I don't really care as much anymore as I once did. So
yeah, I think Chicago's the only crowd that really is vying for that.
I know, yeah. It's
Jesus, let it go already.
Yeah, I know, and plus he's getting older, so who knows what will happen. All right, so I just wanted to ask you guys something about Monday Night Raw that I noticed was the main event. It was Xavier Woods taking on WWE champion Bobby Lashley in a Hell in a Cell. Yes, I know we talked a lot about Hell in a Cell last week, but this happened before we were recording, and so after last weekend, we've had 4 Hell in a Cell matches between Roman and Ray on SmackDown, 2 on Sunday, and then the one on Monday Night Raw. A lot of people are speculating, it's a make good for USA Network because Fox got one, so they get a Hell in a Cell. But also, it's part of the build-up for Kofi Kingston.
Let me ask you, do you believe that? Do you really believe that?
As far as the networks being upset?
Because of all the years that WWE's been on TV with Raw and SmackDown and them being on completely different networks, this is the only time ever that people have said that. And how would they get that information from Fox?
Who knows? I mean, maybe they're trying to play fair and be like, okay, like Raw and SmackDown are 2 different children. I think for them, they're probably like, well, let's make everyone happy. TV deals are going to be negotiated again pretty soon. So,
but you believe it?
I mean, these people are spending billions of dollars into WWE. I'm sure WWE's got okay, we got to make sure everyone's happy so we can keep getting that money. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the behind closed doors and stuff like that. It's just for me, what I'm getting at is 4 Hell in a Cell matches last weekend. I don't know about you guys, but I saw this being discussed on Twitter. It's like, do you think Hell in a Cell as a match stipulation needs to go away for a couple years? I feel like it's very watered down now. A lot of people talk about they've ran it to the ground. I don't feel like it's not as special as it once was, especially as a theme pay-per-view.
I've not liked it since they've done away with blood. There's no point in doing that match if there's not going to be any blood.
Yeah.
To me, if you want to do that match, that's fine. But I'd prefer unpopular opinion that they did the triple cage. I'd rather them do that because you're not expecting blood. You're expecting people thrown off the cage onto another cage.
So
it's basically a Hell in a Cell with 2 more cages on top of it. Just go the extra mile.
Yeah. I mean, this for me, and we said this before. It's like I'm not a fan of Hell in a Cell as a theme pay-per-view because you're shoehorning. Okay, we see this on the calendar. We have a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, so we got to quickly come up with a storyline that one of these matches will end up in a Hell in a Cell. So you're shoehorning a storyline that maybe doesn't organically feel right to be held inside Hell in a Cell match. And so, even leading up to Hell in a Cell this year, it was like, how many of these feuds that were going on really seem worthy of Hell in a Cell?
Just Drew and Bobby to
exactly.
Me. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Hell in a Cell should be the 3rd match, maybe between a really intense rivalry between 2 people who hate each other's guts and out for blood. And
a grudge match.
Yeah, a grudge match inside Hell in a Cell. We haven't had that in a while with WWE, so I felt like none of these really deserve it, except for maybe Bobby Lashley and Drew, because they have been going at it for a few months now. So, it's with that being said, I think, yeah, keep it off TV or pay-per-view for a couple years and bring it back when it really makes sense, when it calls for it, when there's a rivalry that's really intense and needs it, and you make it a surprise when someone challenges someone else to a Hell in a Cell match, and just make it part of another pay-per-view. So, I mean, that's where I was coming from with this, because I saw this, I was like, what? A fourth Hell in a Cell? I was like, oh. I mean, Bobby Lashley put on a great match, but it's like, Bobby Lashley wrestled the night before, so he did 2 Hell in a Cell matches in 24 hours. I don't know if that really sold the intensity of how it beats up your body if he was able to compete twice, unless
he's the almighty.
I was going to say,
Lashley.
unless it views you. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, is it maybe views him as a badass that he was able to do it. And so, I don't know. I'm just saying that's something I noticed, and I was like, come on, just do away with Hell in a Cell for a while. So, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I'm sure they'll just bring it back again next year. Probably go back to October next year and just, keep doing their thing. That's their MO. So
they're not going to not do it just because we're talking about it on a podcast.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to start a revolution, Richard.
No matter how many times you can get Drew McIntyre on this friggin' thing.
I'm trying, man. I'm going to try to convince him. It's like, hey, do me a favor. Go talk to Bruce Pritchard. I know he's in Vince's ear. God. Please put off Hell in a Cell for a while. So, all right. So let's go on over to this week's episode of NXT.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. If you're tired of seeing it, you don't have to watch it.
True. But then, I like doing a review for this podcast.
Yeah, you can watch everything else on the show and avoid the cages.
So just turn it off right before the main event. It's like, I'm right before the finish line. I'm going to quit.
I mean, I'm just saying, I won't watch Pete Dunne. I won't watch AEW. So, I have self-control.
I have none. I'm bad at it.
I think the fans, if they really didn't want to see them as often as they're getting them, then they wouldn't be. Their numbers would drop drastically. But I think people have that morbid curiosity that something might happen that they want to see, and they're going to tune in no matter what, because that's ultimately how you get them to change things, is change their buy rates. So if you don't like it, then don't watch it. And if you don't watch it, that's going to tell them maybe it's time we give Hell in a Cell a break, or we don't do it anymore. Like King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd rather see that than
King of the Ring went away for how long, and now all of a sudden they bring it back and people want it. But
I think because they're just trying to think of things to do for Raw and SmackDown, because I don't think that's going to be a pay-per-view per se.
No, but you get what I'm saying. It ran its course after a while.
Yeah.
So, people stop paying attention. People, typically from what I've heard, is that tournaments don't do well on pay-per-view. So, to me, it's just okay, fine. We will do away with that. And then they bring it back. And it's the same thing would for sure happen with Hell in a Cell. It's kind of like War Games.
Going in
NXT
cycles.
still makes it special because you don't know. They always keep it so close to the vest as to whenever NXT TakeOver War Games is. You could think that you're going into NXT TakeOver, and then 3 weeks before the event, you get Regal coming out, and he says, "War Games,
War Games." Actually, I hope Samoa Joe is the one who says it this year.
Yeah.
War Games. Both of them.
Outside of that pay-per-view, the only other Hell in a Cell that they've had was at WrestleMania, wasn't it? With Undertaker and Shane, and then Undertaker and Triple H.
I think so. I'm trying to remember, because that's the thing. They said there's over 40 something Hell in a Cells now total over the last 20 something years, 23 years that they've been doing them. So I was like, wow, that's a lot now. It's trying to keep track. I mean, as you said, I think it was off the air. You said it's almost up there with just a regular steel cage match as far as how often they use it. So
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just.
But I mean, the same token, it's we got Lashley and McIntyre felt like a hell. That felt like a really good Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, we loved the match
with up to par with some of the best Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the match was great. But I'm with you as far as, it's a little more watered down now. But I mean, to their credit, Drew and Bobby went out there and kicked each other's ass and really made it awesome.
to me, Elimination Chamber is kind of taking the place of what Hell in a Cell used to be. Like, that's the most brutal match in WWE now, because it's like, no, like, okay, you can gimmick the floor around the thing, but like getting thrown against the chains, ouch.
Yeah. No, it's intense, man. No, and I like Elimination Chamber a lot as well. Yeah. So, but yeah,
that feels like one that like you can't really overdo. You know what I mean? Like people seem to love that match.
Well, what I like about Elimination Chamber is it's really like turned into like a 2.0 Royal Rumble as far as a second option to try to maybe get a title shot.
It's a singles version of War Games. Instead of being on a team, like it's just you.
Yeah, exactly. So I really like it. But yeah, Hell in a Cell, TLC, like where these pay-per-views are named after the stipulations, I kind of wish they would do away with, and maybe just not force some storylines.
I'm with you. I'd rather be surprised that we're getting a Hell in a Cell somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We'll see
and
what
not
happens.
Have multiples in one night.
So hopefully, they listen to this podcast and it will change their minds. Change my mind.
Yeah.
I'll DM Drew right now and tell him, hey, here's a link. Here's this episode. You need to listen to it, please. Richard said, tell Vince McMahon.
He doesn't know who that is. Tell Vince I'm looking for work. And I'll help with the show.
Yeah, it's so yeah, let's go back on over to Wednesday night, Tuesday night for NXT.
We don't watch wrestling on Wednesdays anymore.
I haven't lately because they've been preempted by basketball.
That's right, and the ratings have tanked
for the weekends. Yeah. So, but no, this week's episode of NXT. It was a little bit down, I think, overall compared to maybe the last few weeks. But there was a very big cliffhanger that it ended on that I really enjoyed. So let's talk about that. So finally, after what seemed like months of video packages, we finally figured out who is Diamond Mine. It's the new stable in NXT featuring Roderick Strong, Malcolm Bivens, and then Tyler Russ, and Tommy, who's the other guy?
Hideki Suzuki.
Yeah, who's a big-time Japanese wrestler who actually signed with WWE or NXT as a coach a few months ago. So he's only been with the company for, I think...
he's from Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore? No, I was going to say, what? That's like, damn you, Wikipedia. Someone changed something. But no, it came after the main event, which was Kyle O'Reilly taking on Kushida in a non-title match for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Non-title.
Non-title. But yeah, Kushida, who is the Cruiserweight Champion.
Yeah.
Great main event here. Tommy, I know you really liked this match.
Yeah, I enjoyed the technical wrestling of the match. Kyle O'Reilly was doing the judo throw,
that judo throw, the one you showed me when we rewatched it, that was killer. Just him,
they call it in Japanese seal nage, morote seal nage, which is just a.
I was just about to say that.
Me too.
But I just wanted to clarify that, and and then he used the Imonari roll, which on Kushida, and turned it into a heel hook, and I enjoyed that. So
yeah, Richard, anything else from this main event that stuck out for you?
Solid main event. I thought I liked how you kind of got to see Kyle O'Reilly in two different stories, maybe even three now if you kind of factor in Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
It's a little more three-dimensional. I thought that was well done because I was kind of waiting for something to happen. You knew Adam Cole was going to be there somewhere because he was just yapping away all night.
Exactly. Well, I liked how the finish though was like Kushida was trying to put in his submission, and then Kyle O'Reilly countered by giving himself almost like giving himself a wedgie by putting his hand in the trunks, and that way Kushida couldn't lift it up to really sink in the hold. But then Kyle O'Reilly was able to roll Kushida for the victory, and then Adam Cole came out, attacked Kyle O'Reilly. They go outside. Samoa Joe and his army of security guards, which featured
Bronson Steiner
as one of the security guards trying to break it up. They go offside, and Kushida's by himself, and that's when Diamond Mine makes the attack on him, and they stand over him and reveal themselves. So Roderick Strong is back, got a buzz cut now, and he held the cruiserweight title and then threw it back down on Kushida. So, yeah, Richard, your takeaways on Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong re-debuting with his own new stable now, and the lineup that we have here, including Malcolm Bivens.
I like it. I'm hoping this isn't just going to be a mid-level faction. Mm-hmm. It seems like whenever there's a new faction, they're mid-card guys, and they're not really elevating anyone. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's kind of cool for what it is, but at the same time, it's like, let's do something with this. Yeah.
So I wonder, for Kyle O'Reilly, who's a former North American champion, the fact he held up that cruiserweight title, does that mean that's his next eye on the prize? Is that
cruiserweight?
Roderick Strong. Sorry,
yeah. Same thing.
Undisputed Era guys. So, but yeah, no, for Roderick Strong, like, is that going to be his priority when we don't know what his motivation is? I mean, hopefully we'll get it addressed on the next episode of NXT, end on this cliffhanger. But yeah, the fact he had the cruiserweight title, I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's the cruiserweight title. I mean, the rumors are going to put more emphasis on that title and maybe more, stronger matchups with that.
Well, we didn't put this. I don't know if you put this in your notes, but maybe they're doing that on NXT because they're getting rid of 205 Live. It looks like, based off of all the releases.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, that's something that I touched on the other night with John LaRocca, talking about the releases is, the people that they let go are all from, mostly 205 Live and some NXT people. So based on the roster, how thin that is now for 205 Live, I wonder from just a budget standpoint, I'm just speculating. They're like, let's just get rid of that show, cancel it, and then like NXT can absorb who's left over for their roster.
Yeah.
And then with that being said, it's like, okay, if Roderick Strong goes after the title, that's a pretty cool matchup. He's a big name, obviously, from his years with Undisputed Era. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, this was non-title, but I wonder would he potentially go after that, or would he go focusing maybe on the WWE, obviously NXT championship? So who's left that's like under 205? I mean, there's some bigger names there. I mean, the guy from Hit Row,
Isaiah Swerve Scott.
No, the other guy.
Oh, I don't know. Adonis.
Adonis. Yeah, he can maybe go after that. There's some really good options now. I mean, no, Santos Escobar is focused on the North American title along with Swerve. So yeah. I'm wondering, like, okay, they got rid of people from 205 Live. Who's left? And then some guys from NXT can start going after that title as well. So I'm really going to create like maybe a fun dynamic of fresh new matchups.
It also feels like the people they got rid of from 205 Live were the people that didn't really have any character, you know? So like they're kind of left. They're like the guys that were left basically from the Cruiserweight Classic 5 years ago.
Yeah, so. From my understanding, it was like 205 Live. I mean, I haven't watched it, but just from hearing other people, it was just like random matchups. Not a lot of direction or story. So, a lot of these people, I mean, I hate to say, are kind of forgettable. There was nothing major there. So, but yeah, I mean, if Roderick Strong goes after the Cruiserweight title, Kushida obviously defending it. I mean, there's a lot of other options there. So I think that's really cool if the Cruiserweight title is going to get a lot more love on NXT. And it has been, with Santos Escobar, Jordan Devlin. I mean, they've had some really good matches for that title already on NXT. So now you add some more star power. I was going to say Catnip Kid. But no, the star power that could be really going after that title now, I think that's really cool. And that's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I think it helps, though, when you can take it away from like a 205 Live where, who's really watching it. But, at the same time, like, if it's going to be on NXT, you're going to have actual stars going after it because you're not going to waste their talents on 205 Live.
Yeah.
I mean, 205 Live was basically Sunday Night Heat or Jacked or Metal or Velocity for the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
So, like, that's all that show. That's what this era's version of those shows were.
I mean, 205 Live, since it was Friday nights after SmackDown when it aired, I wonder what they're going to fill it with if they do go away. And like I said, no announcement yet officially, but like, could they put Friday night or Talking Smack live there? Could that NXT Evolve show go there?
Well, do they even need anything on there?
I mean, even if you want content for the WWE Network.
I only say that because, like, I've always thought it was really weird that they even have like SmackDown's on a Friday night, because people go out on Friday night. Like that, whatever.
No, I hear what you're saying. Were you a fan? So you're more a fan when SmackDown was on Thursdays or Tuesdays?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I'm not sitting at home and watching wrestling on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing with Diamond Mine is I really want to hear what Roderick Strong's motivation is as far as, we saw he was upset that Undisputed Era broke up. He lost his brothers. He turned in that envelope to William Regal. So I wonder, he felt lost and thought, maybe get a new set of brothers, a new faction to work with. So anyway, I'm excited to see more. What is his motivation?
Well, did you notice that they just went after Kushida?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, interesting. Interesting.
And maybe, yes, he will go after Kyle or Adam in the near future, but maybe this is like the first level of this game that he's in, of taking down everyone that's did him wrong from earlier this year. So I'm excited for Diamond Mine. Now, I mean, they do have a pretty good amount of factions now in NXT. So as long as they keep everyone in a faction busy doing significant stories on NXT week to week, then I'm fine with people being in a faction as long as they're doing something meaningful on TV. So I just want to put that out there. Let's see. Before I forget, the other thing was, okay, we were talking about off the air. So we saw Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano take on Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan.
I didn't.
I watched it. It came last minute after Johnny Gargano was in the ring, confronted by Pete Dunne. It looks like they're going to maybe potentially have a program. If not, Johnny Gargano looks like he's going to go after Karrion Kross still for the NXT Championship.
Can I say something?
What's that?
You know what really bugs me about Johnny Gargano? When he tries to... You know how WWE, the main roster, they cut back on the leg slap?
Yeah.
You notice how he does the leg slap when he chops someone?
Yeah.
That bugs me.
Yeah. Watch it.
No, but I'm going to be laser focused on that now that Tommy's pointed it out.
Yeah, he does
That's
that
a pet peeve of mine with Gargano.
Yeah.
Besides the no selling on his face, and his,
So what I'm getting at is this match. It was the way taking on Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and I mean, I was blown away by Austin Theory. His athleticism is amazing, like his drop kicks and how high he can jump up. I'm like, this guy, he eventually, if he breaks away and gets a big singles push, he could be a major player for Raw or SmackDown down the road. Like,
yeah.
Austin Theory is good stuff. But this match, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan were working more heels, and people were cheering Johnny Gargano. Like, he was waiting for that hot tag. When he finally got it, he came in. He looked like Johnny Takeover all over again. I mean, Richard, I don't know about you, what you thought of this match, but it's Johnny Gargano. I mean, it looked, even though he's the way is supposed to be heelish, we got Johnny wrestling this past Tuesday, and the crowd was loving it. So is the way baby faces again?
Yeah. He's basically Ben Stiller. That's the character I think of when he's got a mic in his hand.
Yeah.
Cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
Bananas. Yeah, that sounds like some Ben Stiller would say.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I've never really liked him that much, but I find this version of him to be pretty entertaining.
Well, I think it's interesting because it reminds me of the old scenario in pro wrestling when a babyface is getting kind of boring. You turn him heel, and that way they can amplify their personality and say things that they couldn't say before. And then eventually the crowd's going to love that. And then they naturally become a baby face again. But they have this whole new layer of character with them. So with that being said, Johnny Gargano, he turned on Ciampa, was it last year, take over Portland. Then he becomes a heel. And then, he forms the Way. And then the Way are trying to do their thing. And he's trying to win the title, him and his wife. We all know the history there. But now, in recent weeks or month or so, like, the Way have really become like this lovable faction with NXT. And Johnny Gargano, the character work of, like, his frustration with Regal, him and Austin Theory, him and Candice and Indy Hartwell, but then he goes out there and he still do all these babyface moves, and the crowd loves it. So I feel like,
I don't think it's the moves though. I think it's the character that people are loving. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like, when he got that hot tag this week on NXT, I mean, how he finished the match and defeated them, I was like, wow, that looks awesome. So it just, shades of old Johnny, but with the newer personality. It's like, it seems like a really winning combo right now. So, let me ask you this. Do you think that's important that we at least have one babyface faction? Because now there's so many heel factions in NXT.
I mean, I don't think I think it's a shades of gray type of babyface faction because it's like DX. Like they're not good guys, but like they're entertaining. Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
So I think you have to look at it kind of like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I love.
It was
this.
like that for David Von Erich when he came back to World Class after leaving Florida, and when he was in Florida, he was a heel. But when he came back, he was moreover as a babyface, but he can also break the rules as a babyface.
Yeah, so Johnny's earned that from the fans. He can kind of do a little bit more as with his character, so he's earned that. So I love it, and cannot say what's next for them. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen. If he does face Karrion Kross, Karrion Kross might destroy him, or
might.
I mean, Austin Theory can maybe help out, sneak attack or something. 2-on-1.
Don't put these ideas out there.
We have an influence, man. Where are we going to take Hell in a Cell off the pay-per-view schedule, and we're going to get 2-on-1 on Karrion Kross now? I'm telling you, Richard, we are a very influential podcast. I'm just saying.
God.
So, last thing for NXT, just want to touch on real quick. So, Io Shirai, who made her big comeback. This is something, I think we kind of talked off the air before, is like, with NXT, we've been so conditioned for people who have these long title reigns, and then when they drop it, we're so used to them just moving up to Raw or SmackDown. Like, that's their call up. But now, NXT seems to be keeping most of their roster intact, even after someone loses a title after a long reign, like Adam Cole, Io Shirai. Both were off TV for a while, but now they're back. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to keep both of these former champions special and interesting and engaging to watch. Io Shirai, it looks like what they're doing with her, they're putting in her with a tag team, a new little partnership with Zoe Stark.
This sounds familiar. Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, Richard, are you cool with this partnership? Io Shirai, former women's champion, teaming up with Zoe Stark, who's kind of with the fresh face.
I'm with Tommy 100%. This is just going to be for Io to turn on her before Io gets moved up. Like, she's going to work with her, make her, and then leave.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seems like.
Part of that, remember, like, part of that whole thing where we're used to that, and like, well, the reason why they do it that way is because that they're shifting the spotlight and they're making it clear that the spotlight has been shifted. Mm-hmm. So like she loses the belt to Reina. So
Raquel.
Sorry.
Raquel Gonzalez.
How many names? So like, okay, she sprinkled some magic dust on her, and now she's doing the same thing for Zoe. Like I would assume that this is probably going to go till after SummerSlam or closer to Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just don't see it
lasting too long.
I would not if you're a casual fan or. Well, if you're listening to this, you're not a casual fan, but I just don't get your heart broken when Io turns on her.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's what you do. You put people together as a tag team, and then eventually to put one over or give them both a push, you have them eventually turn on each other or one or the other, and then they start a program there. So Zoe Stark, she's had big matches already in her short time with NXT, so now she's working with Io Shirai. That says big things how they feel about her and her potential. So yeah, they defeat Robert Stonebrand, but then eventually to Raquel, Dakota coming out.
Good match though.
That was a great match. Yeah. Well, then we saw Raquel, Dakota come out, Amber, Shotzi come out, Indy and Candice, the current tag champions, come out. So all four of them are talking back and forth. They all want a title shot. Yeah. So next week we're going to get a number one contenders match.
It's a free-for-all.
And then the winners will face Candice and Indy at Great American Bash. I wonder if Dakota and Raquel will win. and that way they get the rematch and maybe potentially because Raquel Gonzalez, she's the NXT Women's Champion, but she has no one.
I think that's going to be where I think that's where we're going to see Dakota turn on Raquel
at Great American Bash. Yeah. Okay, and I'm for that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Raquel, even though she's NXT Women's Champion, she's been focused on the tag team thing recently, and I'm like, wow, we have Great American Bash coming up, but they don't have anything really lined up for her as far as opponents go. It's like the main event scene for the women's division has been kind of on the back burner, and the women's tag team division has been the focus. So it's going to be interesting, but I don't think Shotzi and Ember are going to win. I mean, because they were champions, and the rumors, Shotzi worked some dark matches this week, or is it next week with Scarlett. So I don't know what Shotzi's long-term plans are with NXT. She might be making a move as well to Raw or SmackDown.
Liv Morgan's new tag team partner, right?
I saw it. Other people did say that. It's like, watch, Shotzi's going to get called up to SmackDown. She's going to be Liv Morgan's partner because she looks like Ruby Riott, and it's going to be the new Riott Squad 2.0. But then we talked about that months ago. I think either on the air or off the air.
I think I vaguely remember.
But yeah, it was like Shotzi. I worry about Shotzi's long-term run in WWE because they might just do to her what they did with Ruby Riott. So they have a very similar look.
I think the benefit with her, though, is that she's a little more charismatic than Ruby.
Yeah, definitely on the mic.
Sure.
And yeah, absolutely. And so we definitely want to wish the best for Shotzi, but I worry that's what might end up happening to her. So, but no, a lot of stuff, I mean, to look forward to as we make the build to Great American Bash. One last thing I ask you, Richard, that charging the battery that's like charging, it's like at 51% right now.
Yeah.
That every week it's like slowly getting more and more juice in it. Who do you think that is that might be coming back? Because I have a couple guesses.
Let me hear your guesses.
Okay, maybe Tegan Knox.
Ooh.
Or is it the guy who got hurt who was
Ridge Holland.
Ridge Holland.
No.
Or maybe Keith Lee. I'm just,
I think you're spot on with Tegan Knox. I think it's about that time.
When she got her leg injury.
Plus, wouldn't it be somewhat poetic for Dakota to turn on Raquel, win the belt, and then have Tegan come back to beat Dakota for the belt?
Yeah,
that could fit. Yeah, that's good.
We should write for NXT now.
We should be bookers.
There we go. Got it. So I know. Like I said, looking forward to NXT. What's next for them? All that good stuff. I want to give a special shout out to Everrise. I enjoyed their segment with Hit Row.
Tommy, help me here.
Everrise rules, man.
Not anymore.
I know. Well, hey, maybe we'll see him at a local indie show in the near future.
You were a big fan of the Quebecers, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh man, Ray Rougeau and
I love the Mountie.
I'm thinking of the Fabulous Rougeaus.
Oh no, wait.
Danny's thinking about PCO and Jacques.
Yeah, but it was the Fabulous Rougeau brothers.
The pirate.
Ray Rougeau and Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah.
Jacques Rougeau.
So let's move on over to this week's episode of SmackDown. Obviously, everyone's talking about the big return of Edge, who came at the very end during, I guess, Roman's celebration of winning the Hell in a Cell match.
That was really rude of him.
He interrupted, man, the head of the table.
Roman sold that great.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, he was ready to talk. Well, I love Paul Heyman, listing off all the opponents that Roman's beat since he's been back as Universal Champion.
Conquered them.
And then he was ready to talk, hand the mic to Roman, and Roman was going to speak. And then, you think you know me? Edge comes walking down. So yeah, Richard, it looks like a rematch is going to happen, and probably at Money in the Bank. So your thoughts on Edge making his big return after being stacked with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania?
Interesting. Which pay-per-view that they're going to be at, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, because Edge has such a significant history with Money in the Bank.
Well, no, with ladders.
Yeah, totally. So
Edge and Roman in a ladder match?
That'd be fun.
Maybe. I'm trying to think. Have they done just regular ladder matches at Money in the Bank outside of the Money in the Bank matches? I'm trying to think of
the... because remember years ago they would do like a tables match. Or no, that was TLC. I'm thinking TLC.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't matter.
That's why they get rid of TLC, so you don't have those thoughts anymore.
Seriously, why do we have both?
Yeah. But no, it's going to be interesting. Okay, how is the build-up for their match in the next couple weeks going to be different than what we saw earlier this year when Edge won the Royal Rumble? Because I think some people were critical of when it was just going to be Edge versus Roman and thought it was a little bit lackluster in the build-up. So they injected Daniel Bryan. That's what I think kind of amplified that whole storyline. But now Daniel Bryan's not around right now. I mean, I wonder, maybe because it's only going to be like 3 weeks, so maybe they're going to compact everything, so it might be much better segments between the two of them and not going to be so dragged out like it was earlier this year. But, hey, I'm down to see the rematch, but I don't think Roman's going to lose. I hate to say it. Edge is not going to walk out as Universal Champion. Make an early prediction. I think Seth Rollins is going to get involved because we saw earlier or later on the night after Bayley and Seth defeated.
No, it was earlier on in the night.
It was, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah,
the end of the show was Edge.
Yeah. So Bayley and Seth defeated Bianca and Cesaro in a mixed tag match, and then we saw Seth go at Adam Pearce that he deserves a title shot. And I was like, whoa, that's like the kind of first time we see Seth maybe have interest going after Roman Reigns. So the fact that maybe Edge jumped the line is going to piss off Seth. And then Seth might get involved.
Things are heating up everywhere.
Yeah.
Things are heating up everywhere. Plus, we're getting the draft somewhat soon, aren't we?
I think end of August, early September.
Yeah.
So I wonder, so we'll get, the rumor is Seth versus Edge at SummerSlam. So, and there is some storyline there, because remember when Seth had Edge's head on the Money in the Bank briefcase and threatened to stomp him?
No,
Tom, you remember that?
You remember the smallest thing.
I did. I've been trying to absorb all the history as much as I can. But
when did this happen?
I think 2015.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Edge had short hair.
Yeah.
He was on the briefcase, and Seth was threatening to curb stomp him into the briefcase.
This now. Yeah.
In his injured neck and head. So, but
yeah, you like that, you pervert.
So I'm just saying, I think what's going to happen is probably Seth will get involved, cost Edge the title. Roman wins, and then Seth and Edge at SummerSlam. That's a match that never happened before, so it could be something really exciting there. So, so Edge, glad to see him back. He does have some star power. He's one of the all-time greats, so that'd be cool. But what do you think of Roman's involvement this week with Jimmy?
I don't know. I honestly, you can ask me a million different questions, and all I'm going to tell you is I don't know, because honestly, I don't know where that is going.
It's just okay, because the reason I ask is, Jay didn't show up again to work. Jimmy said, "I'm not a bitch, but I'll help you out. We're family. I'll be your right hand man." Roman's like, "Go ahead, prove it to me. Win tonight." And he had a match with Dolph Ziggler, and he did win. But I guess what I'm not fully buying is this whole conversion to the dark side, to joining Roman. We saw with Jay, it took a while. He was really hesitant. They had their matches. He finally realized he was not going to be able to beat Roman, so he joined him. In this situation, Jimmy, he's been hesitant to join the whole time, and all of a sudden, Jay storms out on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden he's like, "Okay, I'll join you now." So that's I'm not fully buying the conversion.
I think you have to look at it as that if that's what he has to do to get his brother back.
Okay.
I think that's where you might be missing it.
It's he's like, I want to make my brother happy, and what makes him happy is his alliance with Roman, so I'll follow along with him. Okay. All right. I mean, it might be the easier way to look at it. So it's just, for me, it was just it just seemed like Jimmy kind of jumped the gun. Okay, I'll join you now. That's what kind of I was trying to break it down in my head.
If you look at his body language throughout the night with Roman and others, he's really just happy to be there, guys. I'll do whatever is needed of me. Mm-hmm. I think that's why you have to look at it. It's I will do whatever it takes to get my brother back on the show. That means I have to put a smile on.
Do a job that I do not want to do.
I need my brother here because I'm not allowed to drive on my own. Okay.
Oh my God. So no. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, it's interesting to see how this is playing out. It's like I said, it's a little bit different, which I'm happy with because we don't want copy and paste what we saw last summer of Jay joining Roman. So, but no, I'm digging it. It was all the drama behind it. I'm still digging. So that's all good stuff. And so we saw Big E qualify for Money in the Bank. Carmella is also going to be in her respective Money in the Bank match. And then, I guess the last thing I want to ask you about is just the coronation of Shinsuke Nakamura.
It was beautiful.
I loved it. Rick Boogs playing the guitar, playing him out, crowning him, and he had a sweet little white outfit he had on. Shinsuke had on. It's a beautiful thing, man. And maybe what's great was Baron Corbin or
formerly King Corbin.
King Corbin, what's his name?
Caleb Braxton.
Caleb Braxton was interviewing him and said, King Corbin, Baron Corbin, and he looks so defeated. So
I kind of felt sorry for him.
You felt
he was
sorry.
a great King of the Ring. He's the longest reigning King of the Ring.
It's interesting. I wonder, Shinsuke Nakamura, man, he was always like billed as like the rock star of WWE or NXT.
He feels like he's getting some steam under him.
Yeah. I'm
where that's leading, like I don't quite see it in the main, like I don't see it in the main event picture in the near future. But at the same time, I want to remind people, like I get it that people think that Nakamura is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but like Nakamura's had a belt since he's come to WWE. Like it might not be the belt you want him to have, but he has been treated very well.
Yeah, NXT champion, tag champion,
U.S. Intercontinental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's very successful.
Very successful. More so than half of the people on the roster.
Let me ask you this. You think Shinsuke Nakamura as the king of WWE or SmackDown, do you think he could potentially have a run like a Booker T, like a very fun king?
Yeah.
That could be like, his own, fun personality can really start shining through some more.
I think that's why he's got it.
Yeah.
Because I think there's those that have like that King of the Ring where it's like Ken Shamrock. He just won a tournament, and Billy Gunn just won a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Mabel won a tournament, but still dressed like a jester.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
like a lot of people don't go and carry the crown, the cape, and the scepter all the time. And for some people, it's not their, it doesn't work for them. Like Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you imagine Austin with all that?
Yeah.
But when you see Wade Barrett when he had it, I know that Wade Barrett didn't like it because he didn't like carrying all that stuff with him when he traveled. But like he looked awesome with the cape. And Booker T, I think, is the first one that anyone thinks of when they think of King of the Ring. But like William Regal. Like it just fits certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we talked about last week how King of the Ring is supposedly going to come back. I think Shinsuke, I hope he wins the King of the Ring this year, even though Xavier Woods, that's like his number one goal in life is become a King of the Ring winner. But Shinsuke should win it, and that way it will continue on and give an extension of him as the king of SmackDown.
And if Xavier Woods won it, he's kind of filed in the opposite category that I was talking about of good people. Like I like Xavier Woods, but I don't see him as King of the Ring.
Yeah, because like, what do you go with it? Like
but today's wrestling fans think he should because he wants to. So there's that.
Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I'm Shinsuke as like a full blown rock star king of WWE. I'm all for that. So it's gonna be good. So no, SmackDown had a lot of great moments. That it's amazing because like they build up, for Hell in a Cell. Now that's done. Now they're quickly building up for another stipulation themed pay-per-view, Money in the Bank. So it's like, bam, qualifying matches this week, qualifying matches, next week. It's gonna be.
I think that's good. I think they just need to get more creative with like TLC and Money in the Bank is basically the same thing. But like, if it's not one of the big four pay-per-views, make them all gimmick pay-per-views. I don't care. Like look at NXT, like Great American Bash, War Games, In Your House,
Halloween Havoc.
Like I love that. Like, make them all individual for something more than just. Like, hey, we're going to have a bunch of ladders tonight and chairs tonight and tables. It's just like, come on.
But you're saying like the gimmick that reflects like the whole setup and visually what you're looking.
If you're to have TLC or Money in the Bank, which one do you keep? You got to kill, or maybe have one night of TLC Money in the Bank. Like I don't know why it needs to be like I liked Money in the Bank when it was a WrestleMania match. Yeah. I thought that was I thought that was unique, and it was cool to WrestleMania because it's a nod to all the other famous ladder matches that have happened at WrestleMania or TLC matches. Just leave it alone because now like to me one of the best TLC matches is, do you remember that Raw where it was I think it was when Kane and RVD were the tag team champions, and you had like Benoit and Jericho, and you had Bubba Ray and Spike. It was like this crazy TLC show.
Yeah. Okay, I try to remember that.
So they just said that they're going to have a TLC match on Raw or SmackDown. Now it's like, well, is it around the pay-per-view? Like what we just got with Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. So it's just teasing that. Yeah.
Split it up.
No, I'm with you, man. So
and someone give me a First Blood pay-per-view.
Bad Blood. Bring back Bad Blood.
Since we were talking about King of the Ring.
Nothing is forever. Sorry, Rambo.
Since we were talking about King of the Ring, here's a trivia. What year was the first King of the Ring?
80.
Oh, that's right. Harley Race.
84?
No, 85. July 8th, 1985.
That Don Morocco?
Don Morocco defeated the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
At it was called
Danny.
Foxborough. It was at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
It was a house show, right?
It was a house show.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Sullivan Stadium at the time was the home of the New England Patriots.
There you go.
Oh.
So there you go.
That's a new feature. Maybe Tom should drop a random history nugget.
I like that.
Every week. Tom, you got to think of one random thing.
And it was in a crowd of attendance of 23,000, I read.
Wow.
23,000.
Thank you, Howard. The Fink. All right. Well, on that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me at Norton Security on
Antivirus
Instagram. Please send all your loving, happy messages to me at Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram, and be sure to attack me with the most foul of language over at Baby Huey 83 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Send me negative messages at Daniel Delmore on Facebook. Please find any way to get the message to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Tommy, how about yourself?
Hey, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982. So give me a follow.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official. That's the right address there. Twitter and Instagram, as Richard nicely reminded everyone, at Baby Huey 83. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. Also YouTube. Watch the videos. Hit that like button. Rate, leave a comment, share it, inthekliq@gmail.com as well. Of course, get the merch, all that good stuff. As always, thank you guys for all the continued support. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.